Good morning. We'll start with Psalm 5, chapter 3, which reads, "In the morning, Lord, you will hear my voice. In the morning I will present my prayer to you and be on the watch." Walking upright in the Lord will not be possible without nurturing fellowship with Him, a fellowship that's rooted in accompanying Him and Him accompanying us by His presence, and rooted in His Word. It's more important than ever to launch our days by acknowledging Him as our culture drifts beyond confusion, it seems, to outright opposition at times to God and His ways. One way to guard our hearts in this time is a daily morning aligning time with God. It's not a new thing to pray in the morning, but I would suggest that we need to take this time to rest before Him, to fellowship with Him, and to drink in and root ourselves in His promises. So we should do this before life starts and we're aware of the news and social media. And those things are powerful forces at informing our hearts about what to think and what to fear. If Jesus is my King, my best friend, and the lover of my soul, starting off each day towards Him is a pretty big deal. It makes a lot of sense. Many of us are well practiced in indifference. We practice that towards people and things that we once loved. That thing we bought somewhere in the garage now, and that spouse we once chased after so intensely sometimes goes days without hearing our voice. Anyway, but our hearts should burn within us for Him. You may recall that experience or those words being used with regard to the men that Jesus connected with after His resurrection. Once their hope was rekindled, they called it a burning within them. That love, once rekindled, and not just rekindled, but stoked within us, is intended to birth transformative life in the heart of a believer, every believer, and a life that bears fruit. We only have so much time in a day, in our lives for that matter, so where we align our affections is extremely big deal. We have all spent time chasing after things which are detrimental to us, or just plain fruitless. But in either case, we've given ourselves over, we've given our time over, we've given everything that we are over, and that's a gift of ourselves. And to what? Aside from the benefit of God's eternal promises, devotion to Christ is the greatest gift for us, even here and now. We can never outgive God, and our minute, in comparison to His love, acts of devotion through prayer, worship, giving, and so on result in a bursting forth of revelation of His pleasure within us. This love is never contingent upon anything we could do, but it does remain unrealized, undiscovered, until we step into the rhythms of His grace. Those who remember the Beverly Hillbillies will remember that this backwoods family were dirt poor until oil was discovered under their land. What ensued in the TV show was a comedy of errors, but it could have been a tragedy had the viewer known about the treasure under the earth and they had never realized it was hidden yet accessible the whole time. We have untold riches, but we're required to ask. And Scripture says, Jesus says, with regard to His promise of His Spirit with us, you have not because you ask not. It's not that we have any right to stomp our feet and make demands of God. He is God. He is our Creator, after all. But it's He who has offered. It's He who has chosen us and adopted us as His children. It's He who has called these benefits our inheritance. Close by reading Mark 1:35, and this is in reference to Jesus. It says, "And in the morning, rising up a great while before the day, He went out and departed into a solitary place where He prayed." Try starting your day with Jesus. I promise you, it'll make a huge difference. All right, God bless.